Commanders rookie minicamp was held over the weekend, and today on the Commanders Report, I've got my list of 6 winners and 2 losers from rookie minicamp this weekend. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Before we get into the content today, we break down my winners and losers from rookie minicamp. Shout out your mom down there in the comments section. Comment your mom's name in the comments to show some love. Of course, yesterday was Mother's Day, so if you forgot to get her flowers, put her name in the comments section so that the rest of Commanders Nation can see the love that you have for your mom. So first, let's start with the losers here because it's a shorter list, and pretty much my criteria for a rookie minicamp loser is that you get cut, all right? And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The 2 players that end up getting cut from the Commanders roster this weekend were Trey Rucker, the safety, the UDFA out of Oklahoma State, did not impress in the first weekend there, and then Aneem Dankwa, an offensive tackle that ended up getting released as well. Now, they did sign one player here, and that is Tyrie Phillips, a veteran offensive lineman who was our first winner of rookie minicamp. And Phillips is somebody I think is a pretty decent addition to the Commanders roster. He's 28 years old. He's got some great size, 6'5", 330 pounds, as my friend Tom Downey would say. He is a fatty, all right? But he's played 47 career games in his NFL career over 5 seasons, and he has 28 starts, all right? So plenty of starting experience for Tyrie Phillips here. And, I think the reason why he hasn't been signed on yet and nobody has really taken him on is because he does have a pretty extensive injury history. His kind of reputation when he played for the New York Giants over the last 3 seasons was that he was actually pretty solid when he was on the field, but he would just constantly get injured when he was asked to come in a backup capacity. Now, I do think Phillips could make the team as a backup this year. I really do. The depth at offensive tackle isn't necessarily fantastic for the Washington Commanders, and a guy like Phillips who has a ton of starting experience in 5 years in the National Football League, I think does lend credence to the idea that he could potentially be a starter, or not a starter, but a backup kind of swing tackle type of piece for the Washington Commanders heading into the 2025 season. But obviously, he's going to have to earn that every step of the way during the offseason program. Then we get to Josh Conerly Jr., another offensive lineman here, making my winners list. Of course, he was this team's first-round pick this year, and you always want your first-round pick to shine during rookie minicamp because they should be probably the best player there, and it definitely seemed that way with Josh Conerly Jr. His work ethic, his toughness, and his athleticism really shined according to the people that were there in Ashburn to watch the practices, and Conerly is somebody that, is known for his athleticism. He's known for having that right mentality, and he's an offensive line coach's dream is everything that I've heard about this young man. So I think that he was a great addition. Can't wait to see him be the starting right tackle for this team in week 1. Then you get to Trey Amos here, a cornerback out of Ole Miss, who was really a steal for the Washington Commanders in round 2 this year. Now, there was some negative reporting on Amos this week from Jeremy Fowler from ESPN saying that some teams felt like Amos had a really concerning back issue, but he certainly didn't show any signs of a back issue or anything like that. The athleticism and all the different stuff looked just fine at the practices for Amos. And then also Dan Quinn, the Commanders head coach, really gave him a vote of confidence and really stuck up for him in his press conference this week, saying that they didn't have any concerns or anything major when it comes to the back issue that Jeremy Fowler reported that some teams apparently had with Amos, which is why he fell in the second round of the NFL draft. Then we get to Jaylen Lane, a wide receiver picked in the 4th round here, who really showed off his speed. And I think that a guy that is this electric with his legs and the way that he can move, he's going to find a role on this team in some capacity, whether that's as a slot receiver, whether that's as a punt return man, whether it's both. I think that he is somebody that can really be deployed by Cliff Kingsbury and then also in the special teams kind of area of the game as well. I think that this guy has the potential to be one of the best punt return men in the National Football League on day 1. And then also, on drags, on orbit motions, on jet sweeps, on digs, I think that Lane could be somebody that really is a big-time game changer as a yak threat in the Washington Commanders offense. So keep your eye on Jaylen Lane. He's an absolute burner, and I can't wait to see what he does with Jaden Daniels throwing him the football. And speaking of Jaden Daniels here, let's have word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. You guys can go to chatsports.com/Daniels and pick up your brand new Jaden Daniels number 5 Washington Commanders jersey and get it in your closet today. You can also do that by helping us out here at the Commanders Report, because every time you use our link, chatsports chatsports.com/Daniels, and you make a purchase. Fanatics sends us part of the proceeds here at the Commander's Report to help us keep the lights on, help us pay for new equipment, help us improve our graphics, all the different stuff that makes this operation go here at Chat Sports. All these, little kind of financial kind of contributions definitely help us along the way. So if you want to help yourself out and help us out here at Chat Sports as well, you can go chatsports.com/Daniels and pick up your brand new Jayden Daniels Commanders jersey this afternoon. So now we get into a 7th-round pick here at the running back position, Jakuri, Kroski, Merritt. Now, this is somebody that I'm really excited to see play for the Washington Commanders this year because I think he can be an immediate contributor for the Washington Commanders. I think that he is somebody that can get in the rotation relatively quickly in his rookie season, and I think by the end of the year, we're going to be talking about this guy as the eventual replacement to Brian Robinson Jr. He plays with a lot of violence and speed. Does need to work a little bit on the vision, but I do think that he is going to be somebody that's going to be a mainstay in this running back room for a very long time. The entire eligibility fiasco last year at Arizona, but you look at the 2023 film with Kroski, Merritt, and then you also look at the film from Shrine Bowl practices and the game itself. This guy's an absolute, this guy's a stud, and you got him in the 7th round. So I love this pick for the Washington Commanders, and he really showed some good things during practices this week. And then my final winner here is Robert McDaniel. You guys have heard me talk a lot about McDaniel on this channel if you've been watching our shows lately, and the reason for that is his versatility. And, the Commanders really feel like they can use him in a bunch of different spots. Could they use him as a bandit third safety? Could they use him as a true box safety? Could they use him as a slot corner where he played most of his snaps at Jackson State? Or could they potentially even use him as a hybrid edge rusher? All those things are in play for a guy like Robert McDaniel who brings a ton of versatility to the table. So he could really be a quote-unquote secret weapon for the Washington Commanders this year if he develops in the right way and the Commanders can deploy his talents in the correct ways as well. Then a little bit of a recap here with my minicamp winners. Tyre Phillips, the guy that got signed, the offensive lineman, formerly with the Giants and Ravens. Josh Conerly Jr., the 1st-round pick. Trey Amos, the 2nd-round pick. Jaylin Lane, the 4th-round pick. Jakuri, Kroski, Merritt, the 7th-round pick. And then Robert McDaniel, the UDFA. Now, I do want to give a little bit of an honorable mention here to Sean Taylor's brother, Gabe Taylor, who came out and came in as a rookie minicamp tryout. And according to everything that I've heard about the way Taylor played at practices, the coaches were impressed with him, specifically with his speed. Now, to this point, Taylor hasn't signed a contract, but the fact that, he did come to the Washington Commanders and he did, try his luck at getting a 90-man roster spot for the offseason, I think is very commendable on his part, and apparently he did everything in his power to potentially get the Commanders to sign him to a deal. So whether or not the Commanders sign him or not, I think that this was an awesome story and an awesome opportunity that the Washington Commanders provided to one of the all-time Washington legends' brothers here during the 2025 offseason. So that'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's edition of the Commanders Report. We got some very nice news stories to discuss tomorrow, so make sure you click that subscribe button. But also to finish out today's show, type those real ones down there in the comments section. The people that make it to the end of these videos, those are the real ones because that helps out the YouTube algorithm, guys. So if you made it to the end, we want to show some love to you guys down there in the comments section. So make sure you type those real ones. And until next time, guys, I really do appreciate you guys stopping by this afternoon. I will see you guys tomorrow. And until then, go raise some hail.